Hello, I'm Melissa from Conscious Content,
I'm Matt from Spiritual Media Blog.
and I'm so glad, Matt, that we get to do this interview. Just to let everybody know, I found you on a Google search. I was actually looking for conscious media and other people who were doing conscious media like my channel to list on my website. And I saw your spiritual media blog. I saw you and I was like, yes, thank you for carrying great energy and focusing on empowerment through media.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I was so excited when I got your email and I saw your interest in conscious content. I visited your website and thought it was really cool to find somebody else who was interested in the same things that I was. So,
Yeah,
right
totally.
back at you.
High five!
Yeah.
But yeah, because that's my goal mainly with conscious content is just to have a place where people can go to find all the conscious media that's out there on the internet. And that's why I was looking for people like you. Can you tell us more about your blog and what's on it?
Well, Spiritual Media Blog is a place where people can go to find out about spiritual and conscious movies, TV shows, music, some websites, and I just wanted to create it to provide a resource to let people know that these movies and TV shows are being made. And not only are they being made, but they're high quality and people want them to be made. And so it's like you can check out and see like some of the more mainstream movies that have been made the last year, like Hereafter with Clint Eastwood and Matt Damon, or Eat, Pray, Love, but also some of the other movies or books that you might not see in theaters, but are still great movies. Movies on like the tapping solution, about
Love
EFT.
that one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like it for me. It's really exciting just to let people know that these movies and TV shows are being made and they're high quality and they're fun and people want to see them. Couple other small features on there is I love being able to interview other people interested in conscious content and media like yourself, other filmmakers and authors. And that's really cool because then you get to hear from people who are right in the middle of it and really up to exciting stuff, hear about their challenges, their successes, what they like, and what it's been like for them getting involved with conscious content and conscious media.
Yeah. So speaking of that, how did you get involved in it and why is that important to have conscious media?
Well, I kind of took a bit of a circuitous route. I started off in law school where I spent a lot of my free time watching those movies and reading those books. And the first movie that really caught my attention was What the Bleep. And I remember seeing that movie and thinking, wow, for the first time, we really have this medium of movies where you can go and not only be entertained. That movie, What the Bleep, was funny, but it's also inspiring, and you can learn and have a good time at the same time. So that really caught my attention, and I wanted to be able to combine my legal background with my interest in conscious media. And for me, it seemed like the next step was to move from Indianapolis, which is where I was living, all the way out to LA and start working for the William Morris Agency, which is a talent and literary agency where they help screenwriters and producers get their stuff made. And part of that process was really exciting, going out to LA, right in the thick of the entertainment industry, and just being immersed in it and really learning the ins and outs of it. But other parts were difficult because I realized that these movies uh, focused on conscious content, spiritual media, really weren't getting the attention or the
Right.
respect that I thought they deserved. And so that really inspired and motivated me to let people know that these are being made. So I eventually ended up leaving William Morris just to focus primarily on my personal interest in this emerging genre and that's where I created a spiritual media blog, and also have used a bit of my legal background to do some legal and contractual work for some authors and filmmakers who are interested in creating this type of work. So.
Nice. Yeah. So being in the industry, how do you, or what kind of advice or what works to actually get these movies popular and watched?
I think the first thing to do is really focus on creating like high quality, high value entertainment or stories. So it's like if you find a movie that you're creating that's high production value, very entertaining story, or just very inspiring, then I think it'll just naturally find its audience.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is to find other people you can align with who share similar interests. This whole conscious content and spiritual entertainment, it's an emerging genre, and there's a lot of people who are really excited about it. It hasn't reached a critical mass quite yet, but there's a lot of great organizations that will support you. Like Agape Spiritual Center, they have a whole department just devoted to conscious media,
Yeah.
and they're starting to get some big entertainers involved. Like the Spiritual Cinema Circle, and sometimes you'd be surprised just connecting with those people on Facebook or visit their blog or just send them an email and let them know your sincere interest in it, and you'll find people. And I also like Elevate Films too as another example that they have people who are producing like very high quality films and productions, and just simply reaching out to them, sending them an email, or connecting with them even on Facebook or Twitter is just, it's so invaluable, especially if you can let them know how excited you are about their work and the genre in general.
Right. And finding funding too. Like that's always an issue. Like
Yeah.
I have, and I know other people have too. Like what, coming from a legal standpoint, what advice would you give people or filmmakers who are doing the conscious media to get funding for their projects?
Well, as far as that goes, sometimes you have to get lucky finding the right people at the right time. And sometimes it's just finding like a big name actor. Like I know, like The Bucket List was a movie created a while ago, and my friend is friends with their screenwriter, and they were able to get Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson on board with that movie. And then all of a sudden, he's able to sell that script and make a bunch of and get the funding for it. So sometimes you never know when you might find a person who's interested in your movie or your book. I mean, even like Eat, Pray, Love got Julia Roberts to star in that movie. And if you think about it, I mean, like 5 or 10 years ago, that woman just wrote a book and it just caught fire. So I think you never know if you can find like a big name person to get attached to your project, or even if you have to start off small, and not small, but like start off with like a book and you build a following from that, then you can just kind of like gradually build interest and people know that there's a market out there for it.
So what about getting funding for documentaries? Do you know anything about that?
Well, I think the key with documentaries is, again, to provide like high value information that people want, and combine that with like, if you can combine that with entertainment or inspiration. For example, I think like What the Bleep was like, part of it was a documentary where they're presenting information,
Right.
but other part of it is like entertainment where they're showing like actual like footage that's entertaining and funny. So I think that's like a good formula for documentaries, is you want to definitely present information that people can use that's exciting and inspiring, but also provide some entertainment. And some of the entertainment doesn't have to be like super high quality video footage. Sometimes like personal stories work really well. Like The Tapping Solution, like you have like real life people where they tell you like, here's this information that this documentary is talking about, here's how I applied it to my life, and here are the results. So it's like entertainment can just be like someone sharing their life story, and like you hear people how it's impacted them, how it's affected them. So I mean that can be great. And then it always can, if you can get kind of like a more like bigger name people, a big name person, whether it's an author or a celebrity, to just interview them and let them know what you're creating, then that can help too, because that can get people know, it just gives them a little more interest involved.
Right.
So I'm kind of interested to hear about you. How did you get interested in conscious content?
Well, I think it just kind of goes back to why I started the channel and just my story of when I was younger in general, where I actually grew up watching a lot of TV. And then as I got older, just realizing how much time it took up and then what the quality and what I was watching, how I was just like, wow, how many years or hours did I waste in my life when I could have been creating things? I mean, I was still very creative and had a lot of craft time and made projects and still went outside, but just when I got older, I was like, that doesn't seem right, you know? So I started editing video as a freshman in high school. And I went into that because I was like, I just want to make a music video. You know, I just was watching MTV a lot at the time and wanted to create what I was seeing. And then went to college for film. And I also moved down to Santa Barbara and had amazing roommates that started opening me up into like the consciousness scene. And they had raw foods and they were into all these things that were spiritual. And I kind of already was too, but then that gave it this extra step that it was cool to do.
Yeah.
From there, I just started making like documentaries about biodiesel for a film project at school. And then it just went off from there. Creating conscious content came from when I was actually still, you know, watching TV and watching a reality show, but with higher awarenesses of this girl who was doing a like entertainment media for Las Vegas, and she was editing her footage, she was hosting it, and she had somebody to film. And I was like, what? And they did it in 24 hours. That was the thing. So they went out to an event, they filmed it and edited it, and it was up by the next morning. And I was like, I want to do that, but conscious. So I just set it aside. I like made a vision board, and then a few weeks later, somebody in a store was like, yeah, we're having an event. You film? Would you like to film it? And so that was my first video, and I just kept doing it from there.
That's great.
Yeah, but definitely like wanting to bring more like quality into media because people are going to watch TV. You know, people are going to watch movies, and if we're going to take that part of our lives, I wanted to put some value into it and some inspiration. And
Right. That's one thing I really admire about your work with conscious content is some of the people you've been able to interview are really people who I've looked up to, and I've read their books and seen them in movies before. Can you talk a little bit about some of your favorite people that you've gotten to interview and actually put on video?
yeah, it's funny because I actually started the channel wanting to give more time to people who aren't normally in the media. But one of my favorites was Coop Blackston, who's a life transformational coach. And I think he was my favorite because that's something that I want to do and I've started to do already, is to help people transform their lives. That was at a call for a conscious evolution with some of the people like Greg Braden, and I just got to interview them all back to back in a short amount of time. But Coop was my favorite because he's got such great energy, and he's just all about how you're the answer, you know, like the miracle is you. Um,
Yeah,
and I think that's the main message that a lot of people should grasp around today's society. So,
that's
yeah.
great. That's great. And I want to make sure people know where they can watch these videos. Do you have a YouTube channel or a website that they can watch them at?
Yeah, it's youtube.com/conscious content TV, and then consciouscontenttv.com is where I have you listed, as well as many other people who are doing conscious, spiritual, eco-friendly, and nutrition blogs, videos. Got alternative news sites, so a lot of stuff on there.
That's great. What do you see for like the future of you personally with conscious content and I guess the genre in general?
The OWN network from Oprah is kind of like cracking the door kind of thing on
Yeah,
cable TV and mainstream media, is just integrating more of this light message into media. Like you said, connecting up with a few people who are already doing this to create like a bigger channel or multiple channels on TV. That's my goal, and that's what I hope to see in the future. Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, I'm really excited about the OWN network too. I just saw that they had this new show called Miracle Detectives,
Hmm.
where they have these actual like people who go around investigating these so-called miracles to try to validate them or not. And I know that Oprah is the type of woman and media just expert who will be able to create these high quality and highly entertaining programs. So
Right.
excited about that too.
Yeah, I like that. That it actually reminded me of a few different TV shows that were already on TV, but I just like how it's all right there in one channel.
Right.
But the really cool thing that I would also like to see in the future is more of educational kind of like experimental where you're not just watching something but you can get involved in it like in a charity or volunteering or the skill set that they're teaching you can go try and do because I actually watched MTV's True Life. I have a paranormal ability. I don't know, have you ever seen that or
I
seen True
actually
Life?
I DVR'd that and I haven't watched it yet, but I want to watch that.
You should watch it because I was able to watch what they were doing and how they were communicating with people's loved ones who had passed over and were delivering the messages. And I just like, you know what? I want to do that. Kind of the same way I invented the channel. I was just seeing some inspiration and was like, you know what? I know I can apply that to myself and I know I have the ability to do that. And that night, somebody had came to me who was still living, but and I was communicating with them just as I was halfway falling asleep. And it was for one of my friends. It was her mother. So I went to
Wow.
her. I went to her the next morning and I told her all about this stuff. And she was like, "You're spot on. Thank you for letting me know that."
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So again, I know you just said that, but just so I caught that. So like you're falling asleep and I'm always interested in this. So does this like was it a voice or was it thoughts you hear or just like
um,
how does it work?
well, I mean, I don't know if you kind of know because I do EFT and Reiki.
Yeah.
So I've been experimenting with psychic abilities and energy work for a while, and I'm actually currently collecting a lot of my experiences and writing it into a book about how this kind of stuff comes to me. Some people call it psychic abilities, some people call it intuition, some people call me an indigo. So I think I'm going to be calling it my indigo-ness.
Very
And
cool.
it comes in a lot of different ways. It's just basically letting your imagination be valid and open and playing with it is how you can come to have these experiences. So it was all three, really.
Cool. How did your friend react when you talked to her about it?
Well, she was kind of like getting teary eyed because we knew, her mom is kind of slowly dying, and she's like, "Yeah, I know," because she was actually tapping about it the night I had been receiving this information, and there was like this one last message that she had me tell her, and my friend was like, "That's odd," because she always used to dress like that kind of character that you're telling me that she wants to be like.
Oh,
And I hadn't, I would have never known that. So she's like, "Yeah, that's very valid, and you can trust that ability." And it was just
wow.
because I watched this program where people were doing that and just picked up on like the code as I called it and just believed that I could do that. And I've had similar experiences before, but that
That's
was when it related to somebody who I had known who had crossed over and had like a message from my mom, but never really for anybody outside of my family.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be a powerful experience. That
Hmm.
was did you see Hereafter?
I haven't.
You'd probably really enjoy it. It's about Matt Damon plays someone who is a psychic, and he's just like conflicted about this gift that he has. He wonders if it's a gift or it's a curse, and it's just really kind of like eye opening, and also kind of some parts are kind of just I don't want to say sad, but just kind of like dense. But other parts are just kind of really almost heartwarming because you see this person with this gift and he's really trying to use it to help and serve others and not really like exploit it. And they really did a good job of just being really respectful of people who have that gift. And
That's
his
good.
Clint Eastwood made it, so it's just like super high quality and also really entertaining too.
That's really
So
good. Yeah, because
yeah,
a lot of people, will be like, that's, that's weird stuff. Like, that's witchcraft. Like, ooh, what are you, And it's
right,
really all just to help, help. It's all for good. It's all for clarity and healing, which,
yeah,
um, which is what this movement is about, and which is also what conscious media is about. Is all just to give more information and clarity for people to choose wisely once they know what's really going on in their world and who they truly are and the gifts abilities that they can actually have. So.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you mentioned your Reiki and your EFT. What's that for people who might not know what EFT or Reiki is?
Emotional freedom technique is basically a way to unblock stuck patterns or emotions or just mental patterns that conclusions that we get ourselves into about certain ways that we have to react to people, and it's kind of like a counselor mixed with quantum healing because
Cool.
you use needleless acupuncture and you just tap on certain energy meridian points and you say certain things and get questions asked to help you think about your issue that you want to heal or clear. So it works a lot with like PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, and so many things. Yeah.
That sounds great.
And then Reiki is energy work. It's basically working with source to help heal physical pains in the body, and then sometimes it'll cross over to emotional things as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds really cool.
So, Matt, what do you do outside of spiritual media blog in your day to day life?
My day to day life, I spend a lot of time doing legal work for other authors, filmmakers, helping them to negotiate, draft some of their contracts, or if they want me to review a contract that they have with an agent just to make sure it's a good and fair deal. I do a lot of work with that. I try to focus as much as I can on like clients who are just immersed in the whole conscious content and
Mm-hmm.
spiritual entertainment because that's really one of my passions, something that I really enjoy working on. So that's kind of I do a lot of work with that, and that's sort of branched out into some consulting and coaching work because I've been able to use a lot of the same like psychological and spiritual principles with that to help other people achieve like results in their lives if they feel like they're stuck in like their career, able to sort of give them different like thoughts and actions that they can take to kind of take their passions or their interests and turn it into a career path. And there's some very like specific steps that you can do, and so a lot of times I'll share that with people and some different just thought patterns that you can change that really can shift your career instead of just being a job is more like a calling or an
Right.
expression of just your unique gifts and talents. So I spend a lot of time doing that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I want to do too as well. It's like
yeah,
turning your spiritual purpose into a job.
right,
That's awesome.
exactly.
Well, there was something that I was checking out on your blog last night, and it was Kelly Mays. It was this music video of the girl talking about her third eye and consciousness and her rapping, and
Yeah,
it was exactly what I've been looking for. Because sometimes you can go on like your blog or like my site, and then it's like, wait, that's what I was looking for, and then it spawns off this whole big inspiration, and it did for me. Because I've been collecting like conscious music a lot. I have a playlist actually on my YouTube site, and I'm starting to create a dance class off of conscious music, conscious hip hop.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I used to dance in a hip hop dance team, but I stopped doing that because I didn't like the music that they played. It was just, it wasn't, it was just like down kind of stuff, and I wanted to be
Right.
positive when dancing. And so her video was awesome. I went on her site, I checked her out, how she has a marketing company that's all about connecting women, and she was just right on. So thanks for posting that there.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm
Yeah,
glad you liked it because
totally.
I'm always like interested in hearing feedback because sometimes I'll post something and I just won't know if it resonates with people or not. But I'm glad to hear you like that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I thought she was really cool too because she sent me an email and she's like, I am a spiritual rapper and I know that probably doesn't sound consistent, but you should listen to my music. And like I was like, I'll just check out her YouTube videos and her website. But I was so impressed
Yeah,
because she starts rapping about meditating and her third eye and releasing your fears. And she's very talented, and she did a remake to like a really popular rap song, and it was
yeah.
just really good. But she also has her own original music too. So I mean, I was just really impressed with everything.
Yeah, I got all her music last night. Yeah, I know
I,
I know that song. It was like it was a parody and she was talking about meditating in it instead. So yeah, it was cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like, this is too crazy.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
really
that
funny
was
that you
really,
mentioned the parodies because that's something new that I have coming up that most of the channel is going to kind of redirect and refocus to more music and more conscious music and interviews with musicians and bands. And I have a few parodies that I've written myself, and I'm going to have a few people sing, and then we're going to film the music video for it, where it's
oh.
just more about like consciousness and nutrition from like really popular songs and turning it into like how it
that,
really should be.
that's cool.
Yeah, and she's already doing it too. So that's why I was like, right on, Matt. That's the direction I'm going in. You're posting it on there. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
like music's all about reprogramming too. Like you hear it constantly, and when it's catchy enough, it's like conscious languaging and conscious programming. When we're younger, we're watching it and like we're getting programmed. Like if it's a bunch of violence, okay, well then we're gonna go
I
be violent. But if you have the girl rapping about meditating and
I
you're
know it is so cool, but I know you're so right. And I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but that's one thing that really caught my attention with media and movies and music is just how much of an effect it has on us.
yep,
Just like consciously, just like you said, the images and the messages we hear, uh, we emulate that. And then I think, too, also on an unconscious level, I mean, I've read studies about how it decreases your immune system when you watch violent images. I've heard studies about people who are recovering from addictions. They are not able to recover from their addictions when they are listening to music based upon violence and drug use.
right,
So I mean, I think the effect of movies and music and TV, especially with the amount that people, especially young people, are consuming, it's very powerful. And to have people who are using this medium to put out empowering and uplifting and inspiring content, it's just I think the effect is far greater than we can
yeah,
realize.
yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, yeah, let's just keep doing it, and I encourage you. And I know that people are really gonna wake up and they're really gonna like it because you feel good when you
I
watch a good
know.
program. You feel good when you hear good music. So it's really a no brainer. It'll catch on.
I think, yeah, I totally agree. Definitely can relate to that too. Um,
So, do you have anything new going on that we can look forward to coming up on Spiritual Media Blog?
well, one part of spiritual media blog I am looking to expand is I love hearing from other people what their favorite spiritual movies and TV shows are. And so kind of what I would really like is for people to provide just their own articles about what's their favorite movie or TV show. Or a lot of times there'll be like a TV show that's coming up that I don't see it, but somebody else will email me about it. And so I want to start, like, it'd be great if I could just post it, have other people contributing to it.
Like a correspondent?
Yeah, kind of like a correspondent, or other people do it, have done it in the past, and it's kind of a win-win-win because, like, they can post like a link to their own website. It'll be
Yeah.
like, this post is a guest post by so and so. For more information, visit my website. So I'm looking to expand in that, and it also kind of gives people a different voices, and it creates more of like kind of a bit of a community atmosphere where you see like other people are interested in these types of movies and music too. So I just sometimes I don't necessarily know how to like take my vision and put it into reality sometimes, but I would really, that's one area I'm looking to expand, is trying to get like more people to provide their input into it, just to create this sort of just sense of community there.
Definitely. So if somebody's watching this and they're interested, where can they, or how can they contact you if they're like, hey, I got a really cool story and I want to post it on your blog?
Well, they can email me at matthewwelsh.com. That's Mathew at Mathew.welsh.com. Or the best way is they can just visit my blog, spiritualmediablog.com, and the contact information is right there, and that'll get them the same email address.
Nice. And it's funny because that's actually what I had planned from the get-go with Conscious Content, was to be able to have other correspondents filming and producing themselves in other parts of the country, you know, other parts of the world, so we can really expand this conscious media movement out there. And
Yeah.
I have plans that later on to actually have trainings of like how to film, how to edit, and then I can, you know, give that away. People can purchase that, and then they can just have free reign with going for it and just connecting everybody up. That's what this is about. We're going into the, you know, age of oneness, so let's connect it all up.
Yes, I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to thank you for the work that you're doing with Conscious Content. Like, I think it's so great. Really enjoyed watching some of your interviews, and even your Facebook
So
status.
what was your favorite one? I want some feedback. What's your favorite interview?
I'm trying to think. I actually thought it was kind of cool how you interviewed Malika Chopra.
Oh, yeah.
And I was really short and simple, but I really kind of liked hearing her feedback about how she was talking about meditating. And then there was another person, I forget who you were, but it was either Greg Braden or somebody else, just talking about how important the media is and just how much time people spend. I think one of the persons said some people spend 4 hours a day watching TV on average.
Yes.
And like, when I saw that on your interview, I was like, wow. I mean, that just shows you how much time we're spending on this media. So
yeah, that was Dwayne Elgin, and he was also talking about how it's written into law that we, the people, actually own the airwaves, and it should be used for public good. So
yeah.
having more people aware of that and being able to organize and take action into that is really how we're going to change the mass media.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was just really eye-opening and effective.
Awesome.
Melissa, also, I forgot to tell you that I love that t-shirt too. Like, the Conscious Content, very, very cool. Is that something that is just for you, or can people get that? Is that for purchase?
Yeah, actually it's for purchase on my website, consciouscontenttv.com. You can go under the tab that says contribute, and under there I ask you if you want to be interviewed, and then there's this shirt for sale on Spreadshirt, which is a really cool service. Basically anybody can like make their own shirts, but this is actually an eco t-shirt because it's made out of bamboo. So Try to walk the talk here, kind of thing. But my other intent was to be able to have these for other correspondents who also want to create conscious media interviews, so they can wear this out on their interviews and just be a part of conscious content team.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, also, I wanted to let you know too that I'm working on content connections, which you're listed under. I'm going to start putting that into a PDF that people can download. So say you want to watch some conscious media, you like pull that up and you can see a list of all the different people with their descriptions and their links.
that's a
So
very good idea.
yeah, so that'll be available when you sign up for my newsletter. You can get that free download.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So it's kind of like a conscious TV guide.
I know that's what actually I want to create with spiritual media blog almost. Is just people can go there and they can see like what's on TV tonight.
Yeah.
Like almost just check their local listings where instead of checking like their TV guide and having to scan through every channel, they can just come to spiritual media blog and just be like, oh, what's on TV tonight that's
Oh,
like conscious or spiritual or inspirational.
that'd be cool. Like a live, updated, online, here's what's going on in mainstream
Yes.
TV. Or even in
Yes.
the movie theaters, too.
Yes, that's exactly like
I like
recent
it.
DVDs, recent movies, because it's like sometimes I'm able to do that, but I'm not always able to catch like every single TV show. So that's another kind of like direction that I'm thinking about taking spiritual media blog. But I need a
Yeah,
lot
do
of
it.
people who are like passionate about that. And sometimes it's super easy too. Like you'll just see like a commercial for a TV show and you're like, oh, I really want to watch that. So you don't, it doesn't take a whole lot of work sometimes. You just kind of like be like, oh, that looks great. I'll let spiritual media blog know that that's on and then post it and whatever. So
Yeah, you could have like a street team or something, like a media watching team.
I
Just let
think
you know.
I will. I think I'll send that out to my newsletter subscribers and let them know if they're interested in doing that. That would be really cool.
So people watching this, they can sign up on your newsletter too and get that email.
Yes,
Sweet.
yes. The newsletter is definitely a great resource because the first one, you get a free report on the top 10 hidden messages or the top 10 spiritual movies from the last year and their hidden messages. So it's a very cool to find out about that.
Sweet. Cool. Look for the cable media movie conscious guide and conscious online TV guide on both our sites. So
Yes.
watch some conscious media, people. We'll check you later.
All right.